Okay, what I'd like to do really quick is kind of get you guys into, I'd like to go around and kind of, what would you like to get out of the class? Because today what we're trying to do is inventory, parts, items, sales, point of sale system, all that kind of stuff, okay? What would you like to learn today? Because this is your class, and I want to kind of make sure we cater to you guys. That was just a light orientation to some of the basic general pieces of the system, okay? Cheryl, what would you like to get out of as far as the parts and inventory section? Or sales, or building shopping carts, or all that kind of stuff?
Because I've seen it before, I kind of brought some of my own receipts. So I was hoping that once we did it, I'd have a chance at some point to try to actually load it into my business so you were right there to hold my hand if I needed it.
Okay, great, great. I think that would be an awesome thing. I think everybody would actually learn quite a bit from that, okay? We're going to kind of get started on some of the inventory and that kind of stuff first, but we will definitely see if we can hold your hand a little bit, okay? Sam, what kind of stuff would you like to learn as far as like just some of the sales and that type of stuff?
The point of sale sounds interesting.
Okay, okay, great, great. So basically, say for your industry or whatever, you could even be at somebody's house and be like, hey man, I can do this party for you, and it'll be $400 or whatever you decide, and that'll include this, I'll bring this, and then you could technically create, how I would recommend it if you had a standard party thing, you would create this little thing called a recipe that basically had all your items preloaded that you wanted to do, and then you'd go through it and be like, it's got 2 of those, 7 of these, and $400 for labor. Go. Here you go. Like, and send it to the person like so it's ready. Like a lot of your stuff is services. You're not physical hard goods, but that's not a problem. We'll get into that, okay? And when you're actually doing some of your assignments, I would love you to actually play and say, you know, like depending on how you, like you know your industry way better than I do, but like instead of just be like, hey, $400 for a party, you could do it that simple and just call it labor, or you could be like, I'm gonna bring this and this, and like kind of like deck it out a little bit so the person's like, yeah, I'm set. So we'll talk and deal that way as well. Okay, Madeline, what would you like to learn on this sales, invoicing type side?
Since I'm excited to see the interface with some of these.
Oh,
things.
fun! The toys.
I
Okay.
really am, just because that is very hands-on application.
Absolutely.
That's a good way to explain. But I like how the plan for today. I was just excited to see what you had listed because it makes a lot of sense to have that be first because I think that would be most people's biggest concern.
Awesome, awesome. This is actually the core. So if you're looking at this map right here, I'm going to just switch to a bigger version of it. This right here is actually the core. You can see that we're right at the heart of things, okay? So what ends up happening is we have to have a vendor creates a PO and we bring it into the system, okay? Which eventually creates a payable and then you have to pay for it, etc. Like you can kind of see how that trickles up that way, okay? Well, the other side of the fence is somebody comes in, you have a customer, you have to interact with them, you end up creating an invoice, and eventually you can draw out of your inventory pool again. So we're going to be kind of covering this whole back-end spectrum, okay? But like, guess what? An invoice, if they don't pay the whole thing, guess what it feeds? Accounts receivable, which eventually goes to deposits, which eventually goes to banks, etc., etc. Everything feeds everything else. This is literally kind of a system, okay? And so the cool thing is once you learn how to interact with this system, it'll really help you, okay? But we're going to be kind of off. This whole bottom bar deals with where we're going to be at, okay? Awesome. Mark, how about you, sir? What's one of your goals or ideas to learn about kind of the sales and invoicing and inventory tracking or point of sale system? Like what would you like to learn?
I don't know.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Just feed your head full of knowledge, huh?
Yeah, I guess just trying to figure out how it all works together.
You know what? Sometimes when you first get into Adilas, you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. The problem is like just on the little demo that I just did where I was clicking on some of those dots, which piece of that do you want to take out? Like, you don't have to use any of those pieces. Adilas is open enough that if you only wanted just a shopping cart and a customer, you could just do it there and you wouldn't have to do anything more than that. You don't even have to take it clear to receivables and banks and all this kind of stuff. You literally can pick and choose. This is an e-business buffet.
And I think that's the critical part of this Adilas is helping people understand. I mean, all the terminology makes sense to me more than it does to Mark, but I look at this and I see the connections going, but the part that's exciting for me is that you can take that little piece and just hide everything else from the person and say, this is where we're going to start.
Correct. Okay, awesome.
It's different things for different people. It's going to be, you're going to tailor this differently for every client.
Correct. And so
Right.
that's actually one of the keys of Adilas. We use a thing called permissions and settings. And what we do is it basically allows us to be like, hey, this one's going to look like this one's going to act like this. Where if she's selling herbal stuff, she's going to have physical bottles, and she's going to be making stuff. She's doing miniature manufacturing and physical items. Okay, Sam, he's selling services. You guys for consulting, services. Okay, piece of cake, that kind of stuff. Alice, we sell lots of services, but if I wanted to, I could sell a barcode scanner, and I could do all this kind of stuff. It'd be a piece of cake. Okay, so you can mix and match any of those pieces, and we'll get into that. And I think it's great that we got a bunch of people who do some services, because that's a fun area that'll be fun to explore. Great. Mark, any other comments or anything? Okay, Shannon, what would you kind of like to get out of the invoicing part of it?
Mainly, if everyone else gets out what they want out of it, then I just learn for the ride, because I don't particularly have a business or industry, but I just like gathering the knowledge and making sure everyone else's needs are filled. I learned so much from that.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to put Shannon on the spot right off the bat, okay? This will be fun. We'll torture her all day. This will be great. So Shannon builds Adilas for different work that she does, okay? I'm going to have her walk through and show a very super simple thing that she does, virtually how she builds Adilas, okay? And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you right here on this map. We're going to use a couple small pieces. You'll be surprised how few it really is, okay? So basically our goal is to create an invoice, right? Well, she's going to tie it to an Adilas customer through a shopping cart to create an invoice, and she's only going to use this. She's not even going to dip into inventory pool, okay? So these line items, these are kind of special line items. Labor, freight, discount, like things that are standard, like for all these different industries. Shipping, fees, like we have about 20 free items that we stick in automatically that you can kind of just do. So like even without knowing anything about POs and vendors and all this kind of stuff, you could technically create an invoice out of the box just like this, okay? Shannon, are you ready to kind of come show us how to do a small invoice?
Sure.
I bet you anything Adilas won't be in here as a customer, but that's no problem. You can, we'll let you figure it out as you go, okay?
Do you want me to add them?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
So this isn't just a playground, and just pretend like, let's say you're billing us for $500.
Okay. So you can start however you'd like. Probably from here, I'll just go that I want to make a new invoice. But I want to do actually a customer invoice because I'm billing Adilas specifically. So in the last class, we were just doing counter sales, which is just, doesn't matter who it's tied to. So I want to start my cart, and I want to choose my customer. Oh, but I don't have the permissions for that. So I have to go turn them on. Are we going
So just go ahead and go home.
around that?
Yep, go ahead and go home for a sec. Basically, because I wanted to kind of have very minimal functionality, I didn't have it turned on, but she needs to go get it. So go ahead and, perfect, wherever you want to go. So she's basically just navigating, go up one to the Add, Edit, Pays, and Permissions. Perfect. And this is under Brandon.
Oh, that's right.
And you're going to be under System Maintenance. And it's come down right there. The green one
Oh, edit.
And and that next one as well. Just I like to do it for me, not for necessarily other people. And then just head down to the bottom. And then just go home. Your cart is already started, okay? So there's a new icon at the top. See how there's a little cart icon close to the calendar? She's already got a cart started. Yep, she's ready to roll.
Now I'm going to try to choose it. So I bill Adilas is who I bill, so I can just search for that, but it says that I don't have a customer. And I already know that I really don't have any customers in this because we're in the playground. So I'm going to add a new customer. What do you guys do it like that or something?
That's great. It's 517 Blake Street. And the city is Salida.
Oh, caps lock.
And the state's Colorado. And 81201. And that's plenty good. So you'll notice that there's anything that has an asterisk is required, but you can skip any of the rest, okay? Now, if you're in a hurry, that's great to be able to skip. But guess what? If you want to go back and check that data, and you were always in a hurry, you're not going to have anything. So take the time that you need to.
Okay. So then we'll add the customer.
What's the C-W? What does that mean, C-W?
Okay, for this training site, we actually did C-W as a corp-wide setting. But
Oh, okay.
So then because I was already in cart mode and adding that, it already has my customer attached with this invoice. So now I just want to add a line item, and I'm billing you for $500, right?
yeah, why don't you just
Or do you want me to do?
do a quantity of 20
Okay.
or whatever. Just
So
see what
you're
comes
billing
out.
like per hour of service?
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's pretend I'm really highly qualified and I get paid $25 an hour.
You are heavily.
You are
Not
highly
really
qualified.
true. So then I would just say, working on a special project for Adilas, maybe like I work on the developer's notebook and training or something.
Perfect.
So then I would just add that to the cart. It comes in as a line item right there. So it has the description, has my price and the quantity, and then $500 is what I'm billing them. So that's all I want. It's just one thing, my labor. So I'll just check out, and then they end up sending me a check. So I'll just put that it's on account, and then I create the invoice, which is a mini invoice.
Go ahead and print it.
I'm going to print it.
If you want. You can print big or small. Which way would you like to print?
This is fine. I don't usually do it in a receipt. I usually do it in the PDF format. So I usually save it as a PDF. And then I send it.
Email it in.
Do you want me to not save
Yeah,
that?
you can hit save. It's fine. You can just that's great. Just
Just leave it at
whatever.
that.
Yeah, whatever you want. That's great.
I'll put number 1. So we can. Okay.
So
Print
she would.
yourself a receipt, it's fine.
So I usually do it like this, and then I just send it over email, an invoice. But
That's actually it. Actually opened up Adobe PDF, so at
Okay,
the top
that's
just
what I
close that guy.
So the small is
So it's a 3-inch format. So it's kind of like a
receipt.
a receipt printer. So watch this. The invoice exists. Shannon, go up to the top and click on More Options, and click on the mini version.
Oh, there
Okay,
you go.
and click the little
this.
print link. And you're gonna have to choose the star printer. So scroll over. Like I've got tons of different things associated. Hit print.
Adorable little receipt printer.
That is.
Cool.
And then here's my invoice.
So it should automatically tear it off.
Go forward, backwards.
Just yank.
Oh, it's already clicked. That's nice.
So that's what you would give to a person. Okay, Shannon, watch this. Hit view for just a second. Okay, and just go up and click File Print. We're going to send it to a different printer.
File print.
Yeah. Just find your file.
There we go.
I've got tons of printers. Normally people would just click on little, there's a print. Okay, scroll across the other way and we're going to go to the HP 552, that one. Hit print. So
And that
basically,
gives you one that looks like her PDF that she just.
correct. So this will be an 8.5 by 11 type thing. So there's lots of different formats. Click on More Options for a second while it's printing this out. Okay, you have mini version, you have printer friendly, you have a limited version, you have all sorts of different things. Why don't you just click on some of those options? So here's the 8.5 by 11 one.
So here is the limited format.
So it has just a little checkbox, like say for shipping or whatever, something to that effect. A summary won't show her description on her labor, so it just says, hey, 500 bucks. It doesn't really give the details.
But still, all of those are 8.5 by 11 versus your mini.
Correct, and the mini just, you would basically, if that was your gig, you would just buy a little, you just buy a little receipt printer.
Those are basically the only ways to view it, correct?
Correct. So some of them are hidden right now because you don't have hidden line items or other PDF options, but those are the basic versions right there. So awesome. Let's have you go ahead and go home. Here's going to be your assignment, okay? And I'm going to have Shannon do it one more time, okay, just so you can kind of see. Has everybody got the map as their home page?
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is there's a little link at the top left. You can either click on shopping cart, and it'll say, hey, cool. We'll start one. Go ahead and click that. And then we're going to, instead of customers, they're all going to be doing counter sales right now. Hit start. So this is basically going to be your assignment. You're going to start a cart, and then you're going to hit the little button that says add item. When you get here, this top part is technically a search. Like if you wanted to type in labor right here, it would actually go search it, but it's a lot easier down below to just plunk it in right there, okay? Say you wanted to do one at 50 bucks or something like that. And then that is actually an optional field. If you wanted to, you could totally skip it, and then you can just do whatever. But I'd like you guys to create a couple different things and play with some of the different special line items. It's just a quick little cart, and pop them through. So once she gets to this point, she has a line item. She would just click checkout, and you can decide if you want to do it for cash or credit or whatever. So it's not a problem.
You said there were some pre-established line items already.
That's correct. That's correct. So
How many? What did you start with?
the pre-established line items, there's probably close to 20. Shannon, really quick, just for,
There they are.
click home for just a second. Go to settings and go to the top left-hand corner where it says edit corp-wide other. Let's see here. Okay. The right-hand corner, sorry.
Oh.
Yep. I was looking at
Sorry
it.
about that.
Now scroll down, way down. I'll show you all of the default ones that come. Keep coming down. It's way towards the bottom. It's like a little grid. Okay, stop.
Oh, okay.
So these are the special ones that are automatically, and you can hide and show certain ones and set tax settings and all kinds of stuff
So
like
you
that.
wouldn't have, this is what's coming up in your drop down then.
Correct. So
my
you're kind
drop-down.
of building that drop down by saying show or hide. Okay. But there's collected and dealer handling and discount and fee and freight and labor and lien, payoff and other. Other is a very generic one. You could literally be just like a cash register and use other and not have any inventory, and you could just sell anything, whatever. But anyway, those are some of the little options there. Great, Shannon. Let's have you just kind of plop through and do a couple just for fun and be creative. So the assignment is to basically make 3 invoices. You're going to create an invoice, and if you have questions, holler at me. Create an invoice, assign at least 1 line item, if not as many as you want, and then some sort of a payment or put it on a counter. If we're just doing counter sales, you probably don't want to put it on account because it's not tied to a customer. All of a sudden, you just let 50 bucks go out the door, and you don't know who to track it down. So I wouldn't do any on account that are just simple invoices.
Do you want me to speak through it, or are they ready to start on their assignment?
Let's have them do theirs, and I'll just kind of walk around, but I'd like you to create a couple, just have fun. So the reason we're starting here with some of these simple things is basically what happens is that this is out of the box. You can just start creating and building invoices. and just having tons of fun. Oh, looks like Shannon's using advanced admin cards. She's getting all sorts of fancy. That's great. Well, we'll get to that, okay? But Shannon, I'm probably going to have you kind of help show some of the stuff that you did and what's going on, okay? Yep, all the way up to the invoice level. So you'll have to go through the checkout process. This is a small note, but while you're sitting here building some of these things, the cart mode, it's in your session, okay? So technically, even if you add 50 million different line items, it never actually hits the database until you go through a checkout or you save it, and then that creates a quote. Kind of does a little Y split there, okay? Oh, I'm actually really excited for you guys to be playing, okay? Like, instead of it being a super organized, super structured class,
Well, this
do
is
this, do
okay.
this, do this.
If you need
You
it
guys,
to be structured for your go-to meeting or whatever.
you know what? I don't think anyone's on there right
There's no
now,
one
and so we are. My goal is to focus here because this is where I'm at, and so I think it's great. It helps me to be like, oh wow, that is a little tricky. I guess I need to fix that and that. Like we get so used to it because we've literally played in this thing for so many years, and so it's like you guys when you go to the store. I imagine you're just like, oh, I'm going right to this aisle, and it should be about eye level, and like you already know exactly where the stuff is, and somebody else is like, okay, go to the Asian food aisle. Okay, there, and then they have to like look at every level and every shelf. Like
create those automatic responses pretty quickly.
you do actually. You can really start flying once you start flying. So
Right now, where's your training of people coming from? Straight from the reps?
so more than the reps right now. Okay, we have a little bit of online stuff, and we're going to be developing more and more. Shannon's actually going to be helping me, and we're going to try to dip into it. Our goal is actually to get it to a 5-level deep: concept, beginner, intermediate, advanced, tech.
That's separate.
Okay, like basically like customers. Here's your concepts. Your customers are who buys your stuff and who does your this. Your basic. Here's how you add one. You know, here's how you look one up. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do this. Okay. Intermediate. Oh, you can tie them to time. You can tie them to invoices. You can tie them to advanced.
Step it up.
Whoa, we can go clear to this higher level, and you can actually structure your customers. Manipulate these settings and all this kind of stuff, like that type of stuff. And then on the tech level, it's like, here's the customer table.
Have you
It
ever
technically
thought
would-
of setting it up as an online type course, individualized training?
Yes and no. It all kind of comes down to time. There's about 5 of us that work on this full time, and so our resources are teeny. And so, as far as that
Oh, it is.
goes,
I mean, and the only reason I'm asking is that last training was Canvas training.
yeah,
And I looked at, I looked at Canvas and what I'm going to move all my courses to this summer, and I think, it depends on what your idea is. Online coursework doesn't work super well for people, they'd like that interactive base, but you could take your video clips,
yeah.
all your go-to meetings that you've already done, and, but you've already got those in here, it's just not lockstep down, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So what happens, and this is a pro and a con, but sometimes people expect do this, do this, do this, do this. The end. Okay.
Absolutely.
And what we're basically saying is we're like, what would you like to do? You're going to be doing mixing and music, and you're going to possibly be using recipes, and you're manufacturing, and you're just doing services. It's kind of, that's where an individual rep, like, we're going to do a 3-day course, and we're going to cover tons of stuff. But if you have an independent rep in an hour or 2-hour session, okay, what is your goal? What is this? Okay, let's see if we can do some planning here. Here's where we're going to take you. Here's how you're going to do it. All of a sudden, within an hour, they're perfectly set on their pattern and their path. But when we teach on a global level like that, it's like,
Yeah, it's good.
you like to snowboard, and you like to ski, and you like to mountain bike, and you like to kayak. Okay, guess what? They're all athletics, but it's
absolutely.
you almost need individual. But where we really need the help is actually on some on the curriculum so that it's available for people. I have my brother Jared. He's doing some video editing right now. He's already spent over 100 hours. I just got 20 new YouTube video things, and it's training sessions. It's actually, It's instructor-led training sessions that are going to be up, and we're going to do more and more and more and more. He's got probably another 20 or 30 that he's going to do before he's done with that little project, just that one little project. We taped one full video session. It was here in Bridgerland, and that's going to start being the base of what we call Adilas University. And some of our online training will end up being done through an application called Adilas University. It hasn't been created yet. It's got tons of thought. Shannon, you saw her even just mention that little thing about the developer's notebook. We've got 10 years of history. Where did we come from? Why did we do this? What happened? We're going to be adding that into the background, but that's going to end up being our supporting documentation. Like, so why in the world did you guys go this direction? Well, we had this customer, and this customer, and this customer, and they needed this, okay? And this wasn't built yet, so we had to do it this way. And then it's a snowball effect of what happens. And so that'll be kind of fun.